In this module, we started building out the functions that will support the theme framework. I've only touched the tip of the iceberg with the helper functions included in my own theme framework. What we looked at here were things that could be applied to any theme to add basic WordPress and Bootstrap support. You got to see how Core loads all the JavaScript and CSS in a single function hooked to the WP-Enqueue scripts action to keep that stuff from clogging up the header.php. It's an easier way, it helps to keep everything in one place, and it allows those things to potentially be passed through other plugins or functions that filter those style sheets and JavaScript files to return the content in a minified form. Enqueuing style sheets and JavaScript files with WP-Enqueue scripts also makes sure that if there is another plugin or theme loading the same thing, only one copy of those files actually gets used, which prevents against conflicts. Loading external classes and library into your theme is simple. Just add a require once and point to your file. You got to see this in action with the Theme Hook Alliance hooks file and the WordPress Bootstrap Navwalker class. After that, I showed you a bunch of theme features that can be enabled, most of which use the Add Theme Support function. Theme features are things like custom nav menus, custom backgrounds and headers, post thumbnails, automatic feed links, and post formats. Adding full dynamic breadcrumb support is harder than it sounds. You got to see how many different checks need to be done to make sure that every possible scenario is covered for whatever type of page or post you may be looking at. The actual markup for breadcrumb support in Bootstrap is pretty simple. I made it more complex by adding additional attributes to make them more optimized for Google search results, but the markup is a simple list. Getting them to display appropriately without user interaction on any type of page in WordPress requires a bit more work. Keep in mind that you don't need to build the theme the way I am showing in this course. You can start with whatever file makes sense to you or your project. It's best to keep the functions.php fairly open-ended too, since you'll probably be adding stuff to that as you go. Next, we'll take a look at the header.php. I'll be breaking it down into two main sections, the stuff that goes into the head tag and the stuff that goes in the header but in the body tag. Along the way, we'll be adding Theme Hook Alliance hooks and talking about the different WordPress functions being used in the header.php.